So, I have the man himself, and we're actually going to try and discuss this now with the Silage Pit because this is very, very different down here because behind me there's what, Ali, 6 layers? 5?
Maybe 6.
So, I'm going to let Ali talk this one through because we're trying to figure this out ourselves and which way it goes, and then what I'm going to try and do is I'll try and link the wee bits of video so everybody gets to see what we did, how we did it, and when it was done, and then gives a better profile of the feed face here.
Alright, we'll make it up as we go along, innit?
Can't be any worse.
Well, we'll try and figure it out ourselves. The very top of the pit is first cut silage, and then followed underneath that is second cut Wholecrop. That was cut on the 17th of October.
Is that the one we got that night time that was down there?
That was the one on the mowing at night time.
We get the mowing at night time, so that hasn't been shown yet, but I'll clip into that because that actually looked quite well.
Then we have our Wholecrop beans getting down to here at a reasonable level. They were quite wet, but they seem to be fitting quite well. I don't think they've been analysed yet. The resistance meant to be coming this week or next week before Christmas, so we'll see what the analyse like, but maybe we'll have the analysis before you put it out.
Well, fingers crossed, yeah.
Then we get down to fourth cut. So fourth cut is from here to here. Then we have a layer of Lucerne. That was our third cut Lucerne. Then we go on to actually a first cut. It was the first cut that I was grouping. There was some ground that we had was too wet at our own first cut, so we left it to put it on the second cut. So we put it on top of second cut. So there's first cut here, which is stemmier, and it's a paler brown. And then at the very bottom, you can actually see from this layer down is our main second cut coming through. That's only just getting to the bottom of the ramp now. So I would expect probably another bay back we'll have a nice layer of second cut, then first cut Lucerne below that, and then another bay back we'll get into our ramp of our first cut. So we're only just starting to get into our better silages now, which is probably about the right time. We're starting to think about AIN in the next few weeks, and we're only just getting into calving really. There's 90 calf there now, so if we can get into that better silage now is the time that we want it. The cows are going to be starting to pump milk, and we want to try and get everything enough energy for getting back into calf.
But we've got 5 cuts worth of silage here.
We only did 5 cuts this week, or this year, sorry.
This year, yeah.
Usually the last 2 years are on 6.
Yep.
Just this year was a very good grass growing year, but it was a very hard year for getting silage dry. So maybe a bit of laziness on it too, but we just went for 5 this year just to see. Yeah, you can see for yourself the silage probably isn't as dark a colour. There's probably not the same protein in it. Definitely not the same energy on it, but just this year wasn't. It was a good grass growing year, but a poor silage making year.
But then a combination of all the cuts, all the grass cut, the Wholecrop, the beans, and the double Wholecrop oats mixture that we're going to talk about that was over across the railway line.
Yep.
How many acres this year? Put through a forager, roughly.
Crap.
Helps when I actually know how to hold the camera too, doesn't it?
Helps usually. I think there's about 770 acres.
That was through everything this year.
Through everything, and like our first cut's only 130 acres of grass, and then we had 42 acres of rye, and then we had 30 acres of second Wholecrop. And the Lucerne was cut 4 times, which usually only cut 3 times. But I went on with a wee formula that I made up, and it really pushed it on. Sprayed a bit of milk on it, which is maybe another topic of discussion for another day. But it seems to work, and I got 4 good cuts off it this year. Now I didn't get any dry cuts off it, but I got 4 good cuts of wet. It's better than none. But here, as I say, it was a good growing season for harvest.
But that's one thing there that you have actually done quite a bit, and especially with the AHDB stuff, you have experimented quite a lot more this year. Like the milk is a big thing being sprayed on, and
milk and trace elements, I suppose. Before, maybe not even AHDB. I joined Base Ireland.
Oh right, okay.
And Base is probably more pushing through on me than AHDB. AHDB is a very good system, and it's a very good setup, and it's very informative. But Base is a very, very good member run organisation, so I'm enjoying that, and I'm trying different things because of that. But yeah, milk and trace elements for this year. I learned the boron's very good for legumes, so I put boron, milk,
Yeah.
foliar K, and Epsom salts in the Lucerne, and I've never seen anything grow like
Epsom salts. Like
Epsom
most
salts,
people think of
magnesium.
Epsom salts as going to be you're brutalized, you're sore, you're tired, so you jump in a bath full of Epsom salts.
Yeah,
Not the fact
Epsom
you're actually
salts.
using it to grow grass
Yeah.
or grow crop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Epsom
okay.
salts, magnesium chloride, isn't it? So, yeah, that's those are the four things, and I honestly I've never seen anything grow like it.
Right, okay, fair enough.
It's like wildfire.
Yeah, and then one thing that you did this year is very much experiment, and I managed to get the video, was Wholecrop was cut one night at 1:30 in the morning.
Yep.
It was mucked, disked, sowed with a combi drill. It was rolled, sowed out with grass seed. Have I missed anything?
4 days later.
4 days later, and then we call it like your second Wholecrop field.
So that's what our second whole crop is. So our second whole crop is oats, peas. It's not even a lot of oats. Like it's 70 kilos to the hectare of oats, 35 kilos to the hectare of peas, and 12 kilos to the acre. So 30 kilos to the hectare of DLF and Saver. So that'll get our field established into grass for this incoming year, 2024. And then we plough up another field that was in grass for 3 years, and we use grass as part of our rotation for the cereals.
But if I'm correct in saying, roughly doing figures, we're not doing exactly what it was, but 27, 28 ton that field produced roughly.
Well, 19.8 of rye, and then followed by about 8.5 to 9 of oats and peas and grass.
Yeah, because even the night that I come down and we put the drone up, we put the wee action camera on, you can see the fact of, the grass and the oats have actually come through quite heavily.
Yeah.
You were gripping. I'll put a bit of video in so people can see what it's all done through. But, this year very much it's change of tillage system as well, change of how you do other bits and pieces, like you say, Epsom salts and all that they're going on too. Like it's been quite a year of change, really.
It's a big, since two years ago, we were completely winter barley. Plough, one pass, winter barley.
Yep.
From 2 years to now, we're mint hill. We have 4 or 5 crops growing this year for this winter. We're big into green cover. Somebody said to me not that long ago, why would you turn your solar panels off for the 3 sunniest months of the year? So if we cut whole crop at the start of July, usually your fields lie in barn whole of July, August and September. So if we can get a second crop in, instead of us growing a cover crop and ploughing it in, which probably is better for the ground, if we can get a second crop in and put it in the pit, then we need less acres to feed more cows. So that's what we've been aiming for. But as long as there's cover there, I put 25 units of nitrogen on to those oats and peas and
That's
grass,
not a lot.
and it wasn't sprayed. And obviously from the mowing video, you can see there was quite a bit of rust on the oats. But as it's going to the pit, I'm not taking it for whole or to the combine, so I wasn't too bothered about it. It
Then
did
that's
well.
obviously you not spraying that there also takes off the chemical pressure on the farm too.
Yeah.
And I'd say
Different roots, different plants, different plants need different minerals, and oats, we've never really grew oats down here. So if I have barley in a field for 4 or 5 years, then if I fire oats in, all of a sudden the oats is thriving because there's minerals there that the barley hasn't been using.
Yep.
The oats is loving it, and they're away. So yeah, it seems to work. The only issue I had, well, I didn't learn it till afterwards, but rye has a antipyletic effect.
Okay.
So if you plant something too quick after rye, it might not grow that well. So it was slow to get going, but I was blaming the sunshine. There was no sun. We didn't have any sun for July and very little of August. So
am I right, the day that was all sowed and all that there, we got what, an afternoon? And then was it the next day?
I think it rained for a month after it.
Yeah.
We didn't. That was about the 14th of July.
Something like that.
And we
it
started
kinda
harvesting on the
happened.
7th of August.
Yeah, because it kind of happened. It just kind of went boom, bang, 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 and then all of a sudden we come back in the rain. Combines got going for a day or two, and then all of a sudden,
Stopped,
bang,
yeah.
we were back and we were stopped again. And for the fact you've actually got 28 ton off one field, that's
28 ton off one field, and what I see, I'm not running maize down. Maize is a very good crop, but rye is an easy crop to establish. It's a very low cost crop. I got 20 ton to acre of that. Oats and peas is a very, very easy crop to establish.
Yep.
I got very little inputs. I got, say 9 ton or 8 ton of that. So I'm getting up to the same, probably dry matter off the field as I am maize, but
and probably a shorter growing season as well. not as hard on the ground.
You're still getting it off in October.
Yeah.
You're able to sow. I'm able to work it all with my own equipment.
Yep.
I'm not getting people in. It's probably a lower risk crop.
Yep.
Because you're not, you don't have a wild pile of input to it. If
But
you
then-
do have if you have a low input and it doesn't grow, sure, it's not the end of the world. But if your maize doesn't grow properly,
It's disaster because you can't actually plant anything after
Yeah.
maize to really grow unless you go
Exactly.
for grass.
yeah,
But for the establishment cost and all that there with the chemical you spray for me is it's 6 and 1/2 dozen the other. But you know, it's interesting to see those results, and I'm nearly sure next year we're going to have a bit more of an experiment too. So it'd be nice to sort of do a catch up next year as well. A couple
see,
bits and pieces.
I
and go from there.
have instead of second cut whole crop, what I'm planning, I have rye with a bit of wheat, veg, and 3 types of clover.
Yeah.
So what I'm hoping to do is cut the rye. It's probably the same time, start of July. Then I should have clover coming behind it for 2 cuts, which will keep the field green. It'll keep the silage coming in. It'll probably clean up a bit of scotch if the clover is thick enough, and brome grass that I have in the crops, and then I should be able to give it maybe a very light run of glyphosate. Maybe a bad word at the minute, but here it's renewed.
Yeah, it's renewed. It's renewed. It's
a very light
something.
run of glyphosate to try and keep the clover, and stitch in wheat for next year is what the plan is.
Yeah, because we'll not talk about it in this one because we'll do it in another video. But there's another big change for next year coming too,
Well,
which we'll get into at some stage.
So, yeah, you'll maybe see it sometime.
So, like, you know, there's plenty more happening here. There's plenty more going on with the farm. You know, it's been a very indifferent year, Ali, because weather and all that there too. But it's just like everything else. You just get on and get on with it.
Right, nothing else for it.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
No problem.